Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can make a really easy roasted chestnut stuffing for your Thanksgiving table or your Thanksgiving turkey. I am basing this recipe on the cookbook Nourishing Traditions, and I will give you the basic recipe as it is written in the book, but I will also give you a few substitutions and variations so you can use this as a launching pad to create your family's new favorite recipe. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I make it. We'll talk a little bit about why you might want to stuff your turkey and why you might not want to do that, the reasons, pros and cons, so you can decide what's working best for your family and your situation. If you haven't met me, my name is Anya at Our Gabled Home, and I love sharing easy homemaking and homesteading skills, just like simple recipes and cooking from scratch, other DIYs. So let's go ahead and make this recipe together. Now, I do want to mention one thing. If you're watching this video sometime ahead of Thanksgiving, weeks or days beforehand, and you are wondering how you can take the stress out of your holidays a little bit, I actually have an entire video that I'm linking up here or is it up here? Sometimes I can't remember which way it is. Anyways, I'm linking the video up here somewhere, and I am giving you 5 different methods how you can make your stuffing ahead of time, weeks even, and you only need to reheat it on your Thanksgiving day or on your holiday when you need the stuffing, and it's pretty simple, so make sure to check that out. Now for this recipe, obviously the star in it is roasted chestnuts, and I like using these organic roasted peeled chestnuts that come in a bag ready-made. They're super simple, they're super quick. If you can find them in the markets and if they're available, you can use fresh chestnuts. And in that case, I recommend you use a small, really sharp knife and cut the skin in a X kind of pattern and roast them at about 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then you simply peel them, let them cool off, and proceed with the recipe just like I'm showing you here. However, these are really easy, taking one step out of your recipe, and I will leave a link for these in the show notes of this video so you can find them online. Next, we will need some vegetables. I have carrots, I have a whole thing of celery, I have an entire onion. We're going to be using bread, and I have some butter, I have some homemade bone broth. This butter is also homemade. And then we're using herbs. I'm using fresh herbs, fresh sage from my garden and fresh thyme from my garden. If you don't have fresh herbs, you can also use dried herbs. Now I want to say quickly, oh, and then we have, of course, seasonings, pepper and salt. In terms of the bread, this is a homemade sourdough bread. You can use any baguette or brioche. Cornbread works really well in this stuffing. So your options are endless, and you can just use whatever bread you really enjoy. Sometimes it's nice to toast bread cubes beforehand. Also, this recipe, the original recipe in Nourishing Traditions, calls for bread crumbs. I will be cubing the bread because I actually like to feel the different textures of my ingredients rather than having it a little bit mushy, but that is absolutely personal preference. Vegetables, you can omit some of them. I feel like the onion is a little bit mandatory, but if you don't have carrots or if you don't have the celery, just go ahead and use whatever you have. Some people like to add nuts, roasted pecans, walnuts, hazelnuts. They're all really great. And people also often love to add dried cranberries or fruits like that into their stuffing. So as you can see, this is a really good basic recipe that you can build up on your own and create your own favorite recipe. So I'll show you how to make this. The first thing we'll do, I'm going to set this bread aside, is peel and chop the vegetables. Now I have a little quick tip here for you, and that is once you peel the vegetables, don't throw out the scraps. because when you're making a turkey or anything else that has bones in it, it's really nice to make bone broth. And what I love to do is saving the onion skins, and especially these pieces right here, in the freezer for when I'm ready to make bone broth, and then I'll toss them in there and they will give your bone broth so much flavor and make it so much better. So that's what I always recommend. Oftentimes with celery, you have to check for little pieces of soil that get stuck in there. So I will wash this before I use it, and I will cut off the tops of the carrots. Now you can peel your carrots or omit that. I am just going to use them like this. There often are a lot of vitamins right underneath the skin, and since we will be baking this for a long time and it becomes a big stuffing, I don't feel it is quite so necessary. So I'm going to wash the celery really quick. And here's my veggie scraps for my next bone broth. So no need to take any notes here for this recipe, because I will be leaving a link for this written and printable recipe in the description box below this video. You don't even need an email to get this. You can just go straight to the link and print it from there. So enjoy watching, and then you can print it. I will roughly chop my vegetables. I'm going to take you over here to my stove, and I like to make my stuffing in a cast iron skillet. This is a 12-inch that comes with a lid, and I will be melting about a half a cup or so of butter. You can never go wrong with butter in my book. And as you can see, I'm not measuring ingredients. I am mostly eyeballing, and it doesn't matter if you're using a little bit less or a little bit more butter. It really doesn't matter. Now we're melting the butter over low-medium heat. Once the butter is melted, I am adding my vegetables to this skillet to cook them until they are soft and translucent. So we'll let these sit here for a bit. In the meantime, I will chop my chestnuts, and we're using more or less 2 cups. And again, the amounts in this recipe are very flexible. Again, I have them all in the printable recipe. It also depends on how many people you're feeding and how big your turkey is, and whether you are actually stuffing your turkey or whether you are making the stuffing on the side. Somewhere online, I saw somebody recommending crushing chestnuts before you chop them. So I have adopted this method. And I always think it's kind of fun to get your hands in there. And then I'm roughly chopping my chestnuts. Next, I'm chopping my herbs, my sage, and my thyme. You can use parsley here. You can add some oregano. As I said, there's so many different ingredients you can add to this. Let's check on our vegetables really quick. And while the vegetables are still cooking, I'm moving my roasted chestnuts over and cut my bread into small cubes. My vegetables need a little bit longer to be really nice and translucent and very soft. So let's talk about stuffing your turkey versus baking the stuffing on the side. If you do stuff your turkey with the stuffing, obviously it's going to be super moist. It's going to have that turkey flavor, that meaty flavor, and it's going to have that extra complex flavor. However, your turkey will need longer to cook, and I'm leaving another link in the description box below this video that shows you a chart of how many pounds of turkey, if you stuff it, how long you need to bake it at what, or roast it at what temperatures. So obviously it will take much longer, which can be an issue if you have a large family and a large turkey and you're trying to make other things at the side. The other option is to bake the stuffing on the side, which is what I will do, because there is a concern with the USDA that the turkey might not reach the recommended temperature on the inside, and erring on the side of caution, it's easier to cook the turkey and the stuffing separate. And the upsides of making the stuffing separate obviously is that you can make it ahead of time, you can juggle things around in your oven a little bit easier, and your turkey will cook faster. Now, to get the best of both worlds, I'm going to show you a little trick towards the end of this video, so definitely stay tuned for that, because I like to get the best of both worlds. I like the way my vegetables look and feel. Now I'm adding the chestnuts and my herbs. Cook that for just a little bit, stirring to combine the ingredients. Now I'm adding about 1.5 cups of bone broth. You can also use stock or bouillon. I like my stuffing not to be soggy, but nice and moist, so might add a little bit more in just a moment. Before I add the bread, I like to add a good helping of fresh ground pepper. And salt. Give that another quick stir. And now I'm adding my bread cubes. And stir everything to combine the ingredients. You want to moisten the bread cubes. And the better we mix it, the more the flavors will mingle and develop in here. I don't think I added too much bone broth. Again, I don't like it to be very soggy, but I like it nice and moist. Setting my oven to 350 degrees. Add a lid to this. If you don't have a lid for the vessel that you are cooking your stuffing in, then you can always use aluminum foil, and you can use any casserole dish, a glass bakeware or casserole, anything that you have. And again, if you don't have a lid, just use aluminum foil. And then we'll put this in the oven. We'll bake it covered for 30 minutes. And if you're enjoying this video, it always means the world to me if you give me a like. And if you're new on my channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss another video. Also, I love to engage with you, my viewers. So please leave me any comment in the section below this video. Let me know how you like this recipe, if you made it, if you have any suggestions. I always love to reply to your comments, and then we'll come right back when it's baked. So I pulled the stuffing out of the oven, and here's my little trick that I use to get the best of both the stuffed turkey and the bake the stuffing on the side version. I like to drizzle some of the turkey drippings and the juice that comes out of the turkey and pools at the bottom of the roaster over the stuffing, so I get some of the turkey flavor in my stuffing. Now let's give this a little try. I'm very curious as to how this tastes. Try a little bit here. It's still pretty hot. I love it. Holidays are here. This is crunchy on top, nice and moist at the bottom, very flavorful. The chestnuts add a meaty nuttiness to it that's just wonderful, and it's really delicious. If you are looking for more holiday recipes, I have an entire playlist up here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.